All right, and we are back with Mandalorian season 3?
Yes.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
All right, this one was the cliffhanger for episode 2 was actually really strong.
Yeah.
But then watching season 3, episode 3, I'm like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely been the low point of the season so far. It started off great, like they're coming out of the mines, they're leaving, and then they get into a space battle with some TIE fighters. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. You get to see some of the flying from Bo-Katan and her ship, and then, of course, Mando and her. That was a really cool, like, she just dropped them off.
Yeah.
So seeing that is good. Now, I don't know where these TIE fighters came from, and were they waiting for him? Like, that's going to have to be explained.
Yeah.
And, I know there's still, like, pockets of the Empire left, so this is definitely like looked like it was a squadron of TIE fighters that they managed to escape from. But that he takes her back basically to the place where all the Mandalorians are.
Yeah,
Mandalorians, and they kind of accept her in there because she has nowhere to go now because they blew up her castle.
Yeah.
Oh no, my home! I got blown up. And then after that, we kind of it jumps over to Coruscant, which is the center of the galaxy, and we see like this whole thing with that like guy who was from the first season, that scientist nerdy guy.
Yeah.
And I guess how he's like working with the Republic now, and that's actually something that's pretty interesting because you don't think about the fact that basically a new government took over. So what are all these other government Empire? Not soldiers, they're just like workers. What are they doing? Yeah. So they basically have to rehabilitate them and then put them to work for the New Republic.
And when I was watching this entire episode, I was like, this looks too peaceful. Looks too whatever. Like, this has to be the Matrix or something. Like he has to be. This scientist has to be hooked up to some type of machine. Yeah. And then they're tricking him, to giving the secrets of cloning again. Or something like that. So I was like, that was my thought process the entire time. I was like, man, this is way too peaceful. Yeah. Like this like watching Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all this stuff, you watch and everything's like a third world country and stuff like that. So when you're watching this, everything's like high tech and stuff. I'm like, whoa. Is this what's going on right now? I've never even seen any of this.
Yeah. So it's basically, it's a big jump because, for example, with everything with the Mandalorian, it's like Wild West. And then you jump to civilization New York where everything's like modern. Yeah, exactly. So seeing that jump is like, oh, okay. You can definitely tell that, it's a huge galaxy. Yeah. And I'm like, this is a setup. Like, they're setting us up for something. Mm-hmm. And at the end, they did set up that guy to get like tortured by that girl. Yeah. But, it like I said, it gives you a view that you don't think about is like all these people who really were just working for the government at the time. They're not really bad people. They're just doing their job. Yeah,
just working for a different government each time.
Yeah,
just trying to get by.
Yeah, now they have to basically like go to therapy to make sure they're not, trying to cause an insurrection or something. Yeah, and you don't really think about that for the Star Wars. You're just like, oh, the heroes saved the universe, yay! But like, what about everybody else who was already part of the Empire that wasn't a soldier? They were just doing their job. Yeah, yeah. And that's just like another thing, like, oh, we have to do the budget for this stuff, and it's crazy to think about the fact that now the new government took over, they have to do a budget for all these people, they have to give them jobs,
scrapping big ass ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he makes a good point. He's like, all of this Empire technology, we're just gonna throw it away, and they're like, And I understand his point of view is like, this is my work. Yeah, I've been working on this for so long, and you're just going to scrap it. Yeah. So I can see why he wanted to save that, the cloning aspect of it, because, I mean, cloning isn't in a sense bad because obviously they used it, to turn things bad, but in a sense it's not bad at the time. Yeah. He just didn't want his research to go to waste. So I can see why he would want to do that, but it was basically he was being used really. Yeah. So that whole aspect was very like low-key compared to everything we've seen with Mando or with the Mandalorian. So it's very different to see it just kind of like spy stuff,
Yeah, exactly. Spy stuff, hiding from the government and stuff like that. Right. I thought it was a pretty interesting twist, though. I thought they were like building relationships, stuff like that. And then as they get caught, I was like, oh, how'd they get caught? And then she just turns over, picks up the briefcase from him, and walks away. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Very, yeah.
And then what was it? I thought you would think like the government, that she worked with Moff Gideon, right? Yeah. So you think they will be more of a suspicious of her and like not let her be inside the control room by herself and all this stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
And I wonder if she did that on purpose for this guy because he remembered that she worked with Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
So she's like, I have to wipe away any memory that he had of me.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know it. So I think Moff Gideon's definitely in play in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're seeing basically the behind the scenes of how he's trying to get the technology. Because he was trying to get, if you remember, he was the one behind trying to get Grogu for some sort of reason.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't tell us what, but if kind of gleaming on that and then cloning stuff that he was working on.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to clone, this species because maybe they're super strong with the Force and he can use that.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. I was thinking to myself too, the Star Destroyers, why don't just slap on a painted coat? There you go, New Republic ships. There we go.
I know,
why you got to destroy this amazing technology?
I know, right?
And then, of course, besides that, I think it kind of ends with that, right?
Yeah, so it ends with her getting caught. I mean, her like deleting his mind, basically. It was crazy because they're like, oh yeah, you can just stay in here and just mess with the controls. That's fine. No big deal.
Like they just left her in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he basically got mind wiped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so when you, what's it called? When they said that Bo-Katan basically went into living waters, do you think she feels like she's accepted now? Like she wants to be part of Mandalorian's group now? Because she was talking so much smack about them the entire time.
I think she has nobody else to go to.
Yeah.
Like she looked so lonely when the Mandalorian went to visit her. I keep saying the Mandalorian. His name is Din.
Yeah.
Din Djarin. So whenever Din goes to visit her, she just looks so lonely.
Yeah.
So she's like, I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
So now she finally, I guess, with her being baptized, if you want to call it, in the water, now she can go and join the little enclave of the Mandalorians.
The way.
Yeah. The way I see it, listen, just kind of how it's shown, like the way these guys are basically like the Amish people. They have like in the Christian sect, they're like super old school, like no technology, kind of like that. So she has to kind of submit to that stuff.
Yeah.
I was talking to Carlos because we watched it together. I'm like, they're like the Amish. They have their old ways. They can't see each other. They can't see their face, like very old style. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Now she has to kind of, I guess, accept that or be, be part of that community. So it's a change for her. So
do you think that she's going to go along with those ways now that she's accepted back into the Mandalorian? Or do you think she's like, I want to do my own thing again?
I don't think she's going to last very too long. I actually think she's going to try to change the ways for them.
Yeah.
Because, why not see each other's face? I can see what you look like.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this, of course, led into episode 4, which we're going to talk about that too, I guess, yeah?
Well, I guess we could, because this was a pretty short episode.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah, so we'll lead into episode 4. So this will be our episode 3 and 4.
Okay.
Now we're going to lead into episode 4. You could start off that one.
Yeah, so we basically see them kind of straight from the other part. She's kind of, getting used to the way or this new group that she's in. Mm-hmm. Kind of she's just walking around and looking what they're doing. Yeah. They're doing target practice in the water, shooting rockets, learning how to fight, and she's just kind of, observing them. And then we see Din Djarin pushing Grogu to fight with the other younglings. Yeah. They're like, he's too small. Yeah. He's like, just give him a shot. Let him show you what he's got.
You don't know until you know.
Exactly.
Something like that.
There you go. Yeah. That was a pretty cool quote. Yeah. You don't know until you know. And then the kid that they put him up against was like, I'm going to beat this little green alien real quick. He shoots him twice with those cool little wrist darts. Yeah. So they were basically just playing paintball. Yeah. And then, Din Djarin talks to Grogu. He's like, don't be a little bee. Show him what you got. Show him use the Force. Yeah. And Grogu just jumps around, shoots him 3 times.
Yeah, so, I was like, this is going to be a 50-50. Either Grogu's going to play dumb and just get shot all 3 times, or they're going to do something cool and make him, actually defeat the kid. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what they're going to do because he's just like, eh. But now they're showing off some skills for him. So I was really surprised to actually see him do the flippy jumps and actually use the blaster because that's actually really cool. I was just, you're so used to Yoda just using the Force and the lightsaber. Yeah. So seeing him using the Mandalorian gear was actually really neat.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. you think of Yoda and even Grogu, you just think of like a little helpless person, but now he's actually like developing.
Yeah.
Not only as a character, but like a personality almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see he's very timid. He's very scared to do it, but he trusts in Din Djarin, and he's like, show him what you do.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm gonna show them. So it's cool to see him start to grow. And then, the little kid gets beat. He's like, oh, I'm going to go cry by the river. So he goes cry by the lake. And then a big giant freaking dragon thing just swoops in and grabs him.
Yeah.
And runs off with him. And they chase him. They give chase, but the rockets can't catch up to them.
Yeah.
Luckily, Bo-Katan was more than prepared. She jumped on her ship and she followed him. And then she found his nest.
Yep.
And basically, they're like, oh, we have to go to the nest, but if you take the ships, he's going to eat the kid. Which, spoiler, he had already eaten the kid. How is he going to kill him? Anyway, so they go and they take a little group to go hunt them, and they have to like climb up this giant like nest that he's in.
Yeah.
And then they make camp there, and like she's still kind of getting used to them. Like I feel like they don't accept her. Like they accept her because she's a Mandalorian, but they don't like accept her into the group.
Yeah.
And this is kind of, you're gonna get to see a little bit of more of the character building for her and the team, especially the big guy. That guy with the huge gun.
Yeah. I was like, dude, he's scaling the freaking mountain with that big ass gun on his back. That's crazy.
And you kind of get to see more of that information. I thought that they would be able to like take off their mask in front of them, but they're like, no. Yeah. She makes a good question. How do you eat? You go out somewhere where nobody can see you, and you take off your mask and eat. And they let her there by the fire, but I think that's why I think she's going to change it, because it just looks so lonely for everybody. It's like you can't share a meal with your friend. You have to walk off, and eat by yourself. Mm-hmm. So it just seems very lonely. And I kind of do hope she changes that. Yeah. And I kind of hope that the Din Djarin bringing Grogu in, which is a completely different species, kind of changes that as well. Yeah. They have to adapt, I think, or die. Yeah. And with the influence from Bo-Katan, from Grogu, and now other species, it'll help with that.
Yeah, and I like going back to where like the armory, what was it? The girl that makes the armor.
Yeah, the armorer. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's making armor for Grogu.
Yeah.
And then you had the flashback. Like Grogu's just watching the I guess he's getting like PTSD or whatever.
Yes.
And you get to finally see a little bit of his backstory, which was really cool.
Very cool. That made the whole episode to me. Like that backstory for him was crazy. And like she was saying while she's working on the metal, she's like, it reveals your weaknesses. Yeah. And then I kind of feel like Grogu has that kind of like almost like PTSD of what happened to him. Yeah. And you kind of see what happened. Yeah, he was basically there during the attack on the Jedi Temple on Coruscant by whenever the Emperor gave Order 66, kill all the Jedi. So they're all over there. They're defending him because obviously, the kids are the future. Yeah, but he saw all these Jedis fall. Yeah, and then this really cool Jedi came over there and rescued him and then like they escaped. So it looked like you saw those guys that were shooting them too, like the soldiers. Like it wasn't like everybody was against the Jedi. There were some people that were with them. Yeah. So
and then what was good? Do you think they're gonna set up for like a Jedi TV show, trying to explain more of Grogu's backstory and stuff like that?
I mean, that would be great. That would be really great.
We haven't got any Jedi stuff in so long. Yeah. In a very, very long time. Not the Star Wars TV, not the Star Wars movies, all the TV shows. It's all like after the fact. So it would be really cool to actually see some, Jedi action. Yeah. Finally.
We've seen a little bit of like snippets. Like the last thing we had was on Book of Boba Fett, where you see Luke training Grogu for a little bit. Yeah. And he shows him the lightsaber. That's the last thing we got. Besides that, maybe it was Season 2 with Ahsoka Tano fighting that girl. So that was, we haven't gotten any actual Jedi stuff, so it's exciting to see that, to see a little bit of that, even if it's a flashback. Yeah. Because, I think to me, Jedis are the most interesting aspect of the whole universe. Yeah. Just this aspect of, like, these knights with swords and being all cool and stuff. Uh-huh. So maybe he incorporates, like, the lightsaber into the whole thing. I wouldn't even call, the Darksaber part of that, because the Darksaber has been like part of the Mandalore, so it's not really like Jedi anything. Yeah. But I think to me that was the highlight of the whole episode, was seeing that backstory for him and just kind of how impacted he is from that. And then it shoots back to them climbing up to the nest, and when they get up there, they don't find the boy, they just find these little chick things, like these big birdie,
baby
chicks, bald baby chickens that attack them. And then we find out that the big armor guy is, I guess this is his son.
Yeah,
he's like, "Where's my son? Where's my son?" And the big bird comes. I call him Big Bird. The big bird comes and basically just regurgitates him. And I was like, "Why didn't he die?" But then I remembered that, like, I guess their armor protects him in a way.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because he comes out alive, and I would be like, "Oh, he'd be dead."
Yeah.
So he goes over. That's my kid, and then the bird takes off again with the kid and with the big guy now. And so there's a chase, basically them chasing him, chasing the bird down, which is cool. And they managed to take him down. And then a big, giant, freaking alligator thing.
I know. Like, you thought that dragon thing was big.
Yeah.
And a freaking alligator pops up. His mouth was the size of the entire thing. So that island that planet they're living on, has a lot of crazy species in it.
Yeah, and no wonder they become so tough if they have to survive in that sort of aspect environment. And basically, during the whole fight, Bo-Katan loses part of her armor, which is like the shoulder part.
Yeah.
So while she's talking to the armorer and she's making her a new one, she tells her, do you want that same night owl crest on there? And she's like, I want to have the mythosaur.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So you can actually see Bo-Katan actually converting a little bit.
Yeah.
Like enjoying to be with the people, stuff like that. She's like, and like she's feeling like she's basically welcomed and she wants to be part of that tribe now instead of like hating on them.
Yeah, for sure. After leading the raid against this monster and helping save the kid, she's definitely like been accepted into it. And you can see that when the guy gets his kid back and he's like, "This is the way."
Yeah, and going back, I really like how she made the armor girl. She just made a plate. Of armor just for Grogu and just slapped it on his chest. Just like a silver disc of plate. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he already has chainmail on, right?
Dude,
so he has chainmail on, and now he has a silver plate. I was like, man, how much are you gonna weight this guy down now?
Bro, for sure. I'm just excited because I want to see him like in like his own Mando armor,
Yeah, it'd be cool to have his own little Mando helmet and everything.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Little rocket and stuff like that.
And I know they're doing that just because whenever they finally show it, the toys for that are going to go off the shelf like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Jimmy, you got to get another one of that just now, the armored one.
I know, right? So that's really cool. And I really like how, Bo-Katan finally brought out, she's like, have you ever seen one before? And then, the mythosaur and the armor girl, she was like, nah, when you join the way, you see all types of things.
Of visions, yeah.
Yeah, all types of visions. Yeah. Like, no, I saw one for real. And then she never gave the answer. She's like, this is the way.
Yeah.
So I guess they kept it very vague.
Yeah, to me it almost was like if you told me, I saw Bigfoot, and I'm like, sure you did. Like, you see things when you're high. And I'm like, no, I really did. Okay, sweetie. Yeah, you sure saw the mythical creature that nobody's seen in a while.
So I don't know if they're like, oh man, that person actually saw it. I'm jealous or whatever. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. And I wonder if they're gonna I know she saw it. I don't know if they're gonna go back for that, but so this is episode 4. There's only 4 episodes left.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to tie in with, they really haven't revealed who's going to be the main bad guy for this season.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a little bit of that pirate ship. We saw this kind of whole spy thing with the people from Moff Gideon's people. So we don't know yet. Hopefully these next couple of episodes will ramp up, the story for it.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad we got a little bit more backstory for Grogu and just to see why he's so, in a way, traumatized.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get to see him develop not only as a character, but also as a warrior. Because if he's going to learn fighting, that's going to be great for him. He's going to actually be able to help in the jar instead of just like, get in your little ball, get on my back.
I know, right?
Yeah. Like, what if he starts fighting? That'd be cool.
So it's actually really cool to see him actually putting some moves on, like using the force, jumping around, shooting people with darts.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a great little sidekick to this guy, to Djarin.
Yeah.
But the Robin to the Batman. You need it sometimes.
Exactly.
But yeah, episode 4 definitely was I think to right now one of my favorite episodes for the season.
Yeah.
Just because of that backstory and a little bit more of the action for it. Mm-hmm. But episode 3 to me was like the low point so far.
So I feel like it's every other episode right now. There's slow, good, slow, good.
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of like that. Yeah. So hopefully, since there's only 4 left, they're finally tying in everything together. the last 4 will be pretty good, pretty solid episodes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And yeah, what else, JP?
That's it. So definitely let us know your thoughts if there's any Easter eggs that we missed out. I'm pretty sure, because we're not huge Star Wars fans, so you probably see a lot of Easter eggs with the Jedi.
Yeah, especially during Coruscant, there was a lot of like things that they were showing. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So definitely let us know what we missed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Nice.